Genesis, one of crypto's largest lending platforms, has officially paused withdrawals. This is a platform which is a sister company to Grayscale, one of the biggest Bitcoin trusts in the whole of crypto. They hold $2.8 billion of active loans, and could they be the latest fallout from FTX after we heard BlockFi also pause withdrawals? This is getting hectic, guys. Crypto is down another 3% today on Bitcoin, and as you can see, fears continue to spread. We're going to break down exactly what this means, who else could be effective, and could Gemini, yes, the exchange Gemini, owned by the Winklevoss twins, be the next in line to collapse as well? There's a lot of fun going on right now. That is why I thought I'd jump on to give you guys a breakdown. Smash the likes, don't forget to subscribe, check out the links in the description if you want to buy any cryptocurrencies. But as you know, right now is a very volatile time, and if you're using any exchanges, please do so very carefully and make sure you have diversified your risk, because we literally do not know which exchange could be facing trouble next. Now, coming on to Genesis, this is one of those where I have a little bit less empathy for people, because we saw the smoke a long time ago. BlockFi did not just collapse recently with the FTX saga. We know that this model has been failing for a very long time. You saw what happened with Celsius. You saw what happened with Voyager. You saw that the SEC stopped Coinbase from doing an earn program, and now we're seeing what is materializing. So this is not all to blame on FTX. FTX, yes, was the catalyst here, but as you can see, they're practicing shoddy risk management, and that's one of the issues we're seeing with the likes of the companies collapsing right now. So let's take a quick look here at what's going on with Genesis. They had $2.8 billion in total active loans at the end of the third quarter this year. They said today, Genesis Global Capital, Genesis lending business, made the difficult decision to temporarily suspend redemptions and new loan originations. The decision was made in response to the extreme market dislocation and loss of industry confidence caused by the FTX implosion. This makes sense, right? When things happen like the FTX, even those people hanging on these lending programs would have pulled their money out. They would have seen what happened with BlockFi, heard about the rumors around Nexo, and people are rightfully so taking their money off and putting it into cold storage. So now we're going to start to see, like I said, when the tide goes out, who's swimming without swimming trunks, right? We're finding out now, because if you cannot give the redemptions, you never had the fun. So this is really important. Now, extra FUD started spreading, and I want to call this out because for me, this is FUD right now. Now, the market is moving very quickly, but we need to understand that DCG, this company here, is the parent company of both Genesis and also Grayscale. Grayscale owns Bitcoins, is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, right? You can institutions buy into this because they cannot buy the spot Bitcoin, and currently that's trading at a 37% discount. We obviously covered off earlier today that Cathie Wood actually bought the dip. Now, loads of people were jumping the gun and saying, okay, maybe they're going to dissolve this, take this money and cover the liabilities at the sister company in Genesis. Now, I can understand why people are tweeting that. I'm not going to bash on people tweeting that, but it is at this stage FUD. Now, I understand why we can't trust anything. We just had the FTX issue where Alameda and FTX were doing the exact same thing, right? Backdoor transactions with customers' funds. But one thing to note here, Grayscale did come out and said, no, these are completely separate. Do not worry about this. And I'd expect it to be completely separate as well. Grayscale is obviously hugely regulated, but you just never know in this crypto space. And that's what makes things crazy. Next up, what does this then mean about Gemini? Remember, Gemini uses Genesis. I know this is confusing. When you use Gemini, if you're using the Gemini Earn program, which is where you're getting money on your lending, they use Genesis as the lender program. So they're going to have that. You're not going to get your money back because, again, they've paused withdrawals. So anybody who's through Gemini using the Earn program, that was affected. Now, they're saying the rest of the products are not affected. We're a full reserve exchange and custodian. But again, this can create a bank run. Sometimes you can be fully reserved, but if it's not liquid, that is the problem. We've covered this off so many times, guys. Don't let these people fool you into saying, oh, we're fully one-to-one backed, right? USDT is one-to-one backed, and it's fine. But the problem is if 90% of redemptions happen today because there's enough FUD, there's a run on the bank or the run on Gemini or a run on USDT or anything else, that is where the pain happens. And that's one of the things that plummeted FTX as well, was after CZ's tweet, there was a huge run on FTX. So you need that run to happen as well, coupled with poor risk management, illiquid reserves. Illiquid, you can't get access to it. It's not sat there. For example, if I've borrowed £100 from people who've deposited into my platform, if I don't have the 100 in my pocket, but I've given it XYZ, it's in another country, somewhere else, and I can't get it out to you, that is not liquid. So it's important that people understand the difference here of what is going on. I also tweeted a little bit of a warning around Gemini. Got to remember, they've lost 2.4 billion in the 3 hours capital collapse. So they're already on the back foot. They're on the ropes. They were feeling it. And this was the thing with a lot of companies. BlockFi was a very similar example. So a lot of people coming out now blaming FTX. When the Terra Luna collapse happened, I said there's going to be a lot more fallout. There's a lot more companies out there struggling who are just clinging on. And whilst Bitcoin was above 17,600, they were able to just about swim against the tide, right? They were just hanging on. But that extra $1,000 collapse in Bitcoin is starting to expose a few more players out there who have shoddy risk management and are struggling right now in terms of liquidity. Okay, that's what we're seeing. Again, if Bitcoin falls another 1,000, we're going to face some troubles as well. You can see Bitcoin here is in this critical triangle pattern. If you want to understand how this plays out, make sure you watch my video from earlier, because this is going to be an explosive move, okay? And we need to look out for this. So again, this could get us down here to test those 15,500 levels again. If we lose those, this could be that big bearish continuation pattern with a more extended move down towards that 14,000 level. So it's not looking great here. And these types of headlines are not helping, but we knew this was going to happen. We knew this FTX saga wasn't just going to be one consolidated collapse to our lows and it was going to be easy and we're out of here. No, so many companies are affected. And if Bitcoin continues to fall down to 15,500 again, even more companies will be struggling. We'll be hearing even more headlines of the contagion effect, okay? So 2.4 billion they lost in the 3 hours capital. They had 175 million they've just lost last week, locked up in FTX. They're the lender to Genesis, which we just discussed, the Earn program. They raised 140 million recently, but they're still struggling with the redemptions. So you got to stay safe out there, guys. That's the message here. I do not know which platform out there is struggling right now, right? We hear sometimes once it's too late. So the biggest message for all of you guys, whether it's Bybit, whether it's BITGET, whether it's Binance, whether it's FTX at the time, whether it's Gemini, any platform you're using now, if it's centralized particularly, be very, very careful. At the very least, diversify across those exchanges. If you need the money to trade, if you need it to buy the dip, diversify it across the exchanges. If you can, get some of it or the bulk of it, which you're not touching a lot, get it off to a hardware wallet. If you're too nervous about a hardware wallet, try a software wallet. Try with a small amount, right? Just move $50, $100. Make sure you're comfortable with it, how it works. Make sure you're comfortable and then get the rest off. I know this is a worrying time. A lot of you guys haven't had to worry about this stuff and you're worried about how do I use it? How do I keep my seed phrase? So guys, study, watch videos, practice with small amounts, and hopefully you can navigate this bear market. Right now, you've got to protect your funds in this crazy market. And that's the moral of the story, right? That's the moral of the story. The contagion is going to continue. We're not out of this. There are other companies out there that are struggling. We're going to see the knock-on effect of that. Who's going to be next? We don't know. I've heard rumors of crypto.com. I've heard rumors of gate.io. I've heard rumors, XYZ. It really doesn't matter what the name of the exchange is. But if we practice good risk management, even if we don't pick which exchange is going to go down, we're limiting the exposure, right? If only 5 to 6% of our portfolio is in any given one exchange, at least straight away there you've mitigated. The big disasters happen where people have their entire net worth locked into one centralized exchange for whatever reason. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you appreciate this type of rapid content to deliver you the latest crypto news, smash up the subscribe button. Make sure you go watch this video from earlier here, and I'll see you in the next one.